This right here gonna be a cakewalk.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's been a couple of days since Usual Hanma was released, and his trailer in just 3 days on Twitter reached 10 million views. That makes it one of the biggest announcements in Tekken franchise history, and it's only been 3 days. This trailer completely blew all of the other guest character announcements out of the water, and I hope that the developers continue to strive for big ideas like these. I didn't know Baki was this popular, but I definitely know now, and I hope that the developers continue this momentum and stop doing obscure, random, kind of like falling off type characters. Continue reaching as high as possible because it's doing great things for the hype, excitement, and momentum of this game. Now, before we step over to the side of Kunimitsu, we do have to talk about Street Fighter because those guys hit another record. 72,000 players with the release of their new character Ingrid. This game also has some unstoppable momentum, and this is like the second or third time where they break a record. It's so rare when a game releases and then breaks its release record, because that's when everyone buys the game, that's when everyone plays it. Talking real briefly about Harada, as you know, he was talking a little bit about Waffle House at MomoCon. That conversation spilled over to Twitter, and Harada responded to a couple of things. Now, he put out 3 lengthy tweets, and I am not going to read all of this. The gist of all 3 of these tweets can be boiled down to what Dextero posted here. Harada says that Japan can be very strict about rules and procedures compared to other countries. If there was a Waffle House in Japan, they would probably never have sold him a physical menu as a souvenir due to store policies. So you can see that in America, they really don't care, and they'll just say, yeah, sure, give us $5. But it's still cool to see Harada engaging with the people, having a conversation. Of course, we're all looking forward to his next game. Now, when you talk about Tekken 8, Kunimitsu, that update is doing incredible things, bro. That update is doing great work. First off, you got to talk about the Steam charts, because everyone talked about the Steam charts when it was going down, down, down. But now let's talk about it as it's going up, up, up. Tekken 8 player count on Steam climbs to 12,000 after releasing Kunimitsu and a new balance patch targeted at the heat system. 12,000, and this isn't even a full release of the character. Some people are still waiting to get their hands on the character. So hopefully these numbers go up, because Tekken has a lot of momentum and a lot of potential, and hopefully the developers see it and they stop doing stupid things in terms of balance. One interesting thing about this update is something that Tekken Warehouse noticed. If anyone understands game files and could give us answers as to what this is, I would love to know. But the tweet says, not 100% sure if it's brand new, but in the localization files, there's a reference to welcome back bonus with extra fight points. So what does that mean? If you know, comment down below. Now, as for Kunimitsu the character, my initial estimates on the character was kind of off. I was considering the character to be a little bit weak, probably A- somewhere around there, but the character seems to be much stronger. When you really get into a match, you really get cooking, the character can dish out a lot of damage. The description is accurate: fast-paced, up close, poking, mix-up oriented. The only thing is that I feel like a lot of characters can do this same exact thing, but even greater, because her tracking doesn't feel that good, and it feels like you could get to the side of her very easily, whereas other characters you cannot. I'm gonna need more time before I definitively say how powerful I feel the character is, but pro players are already jumping to that. High Tone, one of the greats, says top 5: Kunimitsu, Lydia, King, Lee, and Alyssa. In my previous live stream, I put Lee all the way at the top as a character who needs to be addressed, and everyone in the chat was like, oh yeah, Fighter GM's gonna want to talk to you about this. Moonsault, that's a hot take, but here we have another person saying Lee. That character is something, bro. Lee is something. But generally, when you look at people's responses, a lot of people are really loving the update. Like, for example, you have Speed Kicks here, who is re-downloading the game after quite some time. Nee says, I hope in future balance patch, tailspins will be changed so that every character can only use it once per combo. It's one of the main reasons combos have become so long, and I think it creates an imbalance because some characters can only use it once. So some characters can use it again after using Heat Burst, while others can only use it twice, even without Heat Burst. And I would agree, some characters' combos just go on and on and on, and the reason why I highlight Marizu so much is because her combo damage isn't even that high. If you're going to hit me 17 times, at least do 100 damage. You're doing 50 damage and I got to sit here for 30 seconds? That's wild game development. But this is where we talk about some of the things that weren't done. All across Twitter, people are highlighting the good changes, but then people are scratching their heads as to why Lydia and Alyssa are unchanged. Now, I won't be too hard on the developers because I understand that this update and the previous update were addressing heat, but they have not said that they are planning future updates and what those updates will be about. But if they do decide to do a future update, which they should, King needs to be addressed. Heat is kind of like in a somewhat decent state. It's good now, but now they need to go after individual characters and individual moves because King and Lydia and Alyssa and, you know, Victor, Lee, Clive, Yoshimitsu 4-1+2, low unblockable mix up at the wall. Some of this stuff, bro, we've been complaining about for a long time, and they're doing very good. There's a lot of hype, there's a lot of momentum, but there's still a couple of critiques and nitpicks about the game. And if the developers can hit those, the game will be flawless. Honestly, what will there be to complain about? You know, there was a big leak that happened. We got to look at some never before seen gameplay and also characters. It was amazing. It was beautiful. Everyone loved it, but also some people were very upset that it did leak because, you know, leaks can hurt the game. Whether it upset players when they normally want to be upset, or it just kind of like hurt the actual reveal, the anticipation, the excitement of it. Some time has passed since all of that was unfolding, and Virtua Fighter 6 has begun striking creators who uploaded that footage. As you can see here with this tweet where it says it's no longer available because copyright. First they hit Twitter, then they hit YouTube. I seen them hit people on Twitter, which gave me time to react and take my video down on YouTube. But some people, they weren't that lucky. Sega has copyright strike my Virtua Fighter leak news video. They are well within their rights to do so. However, I would gladly do it again to be fully clear. Reporting is my news job, and threats of a strike has not stopped me before. It won't stop me in the future. Bro is talking like an evil genius, like a madman. Like this is literally like, you know, Batman villain. I'll get you next time. That's really crazy. But this thing, it didn't stop there. It spiraled into a crazy conversation. Rafflemonger goes on to say, everyone knows, and all you did was hit the biggest cheerleader in the face for selling your copies. Anyways, everyone who striked me either apologizes or pays me back somehow. Now here comes Dell, the game developer we all love, says, as a former Sega employee, there's an eternal policy to never work with someone in the future if they showcase leaks, as they damage the production of the game. Rafflemonger writes it off and basically says that he's been striked by them before and they still worked with him. Things get crazy when Mike Hollow's video is brought into the fray. For those of you who don't know, he did an interview with Dell where they talked about how leaks can harm development of games. Roofamonger says, screw that grifter channel, I ain't watching it. Mike Hollow is a grifter drama vulture. Actual stain on FGC. Of course, Mike Hollow catches winds of this and says, hold that, you vulture. They're both calling each other's vultures. Post RGG works ahead of time, doesn't apologize, and then says he'll do it again. Why would any company want to work with this guy? Now, as I'm still currently getting hate for some of the fake leaks that I put out without verifying myself, I sit back and I look at all this chaos unfolding and I think, boy, leaks can be quite messy. Fun, but messy. And you have to be careful with what you're putting out, but also be very willing to take the consequences of your action. When you post leaks, when you share stuff, you will get blackballed by content creators who are associated with the company, commentators, and even the company themselves. And that's something that I'm okay with because I'm not really like interested in like gaining anything by being a content creator. I don't really post videos or content with the hopes of getting something in return. I kind of just do this for fun. And I'm happy I was able to make this much progress in doing everything that I've been doing so far. But I also want to get better, learn from the mistakes. And I also don't want to cause any unnecessary harm to anyone along the journey. Fighting games are doing very well right now. We have some of the ones that are out breaking records, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Tekken 8 now, but also we have some really good games on the horizon. So let's just appreciate this moment and enjoy it. But that's it. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and bye-bye.